Welcome back to ACER Explained. In this series, I'm going through Section 3 of the new ACER Practice Test Booklet. In this video, I'm going through questions 22 to 24, so that's Unit 7. I'm going to be, as usual, identifying prerequisite knowledge that you might need, reasoning skills that are used, and bootcamp resources as well. So Unit 7, the stimulus is quite short. We're just given a little bit of a paragraph about water, and we're given a formula, and we're given another formula about food products. That's kind of all I'm scanning at the moment. And then I'll move on to question 22. In question 22, it says, if the MFSL is no more than 1 day, the food product has an AW of what? Okay, and so I have my two formulas here that I've put on the screen. Out of these two, I know that I have to use this one because I'm given the MFSL. The MFSL is no more than 1 day. So this is representative of the MFSL. So what I would do is 10 to the power of 9.5 minus 10 times AW. So this has to be less than 1, right? Because it says no more than 1 day. So now we have an inequality, and all we have to do is solve it, right? So we can take the log 10 of both sides. So if I did log 10 of this and log 10 of 1, then I would get 9.5 minus 10 times AW is less than, and log 10 of 1 is 0. So the logarithm rules are quite handy to understand, especially just how log 10 works. And then that would allow you to solve a lot of questions like this without a calculator. So now we have this inequality here. What I can do now is I can take this and take it to the other side. And as we know with algebra, that becomes a positive times AW. All right. And now I'm just going to divide both sides by 10. So dividing this by 10, I get 0.95 is less than, I can get rid of this, AW. So now if we're looking from AW, the perspective of AW must be greater than 0.95, right? So 0.95 is less than AW, which means AW must be at least 0.95. And so the answer is C. For this question, all you really needed to know about was logarithms, and the reasoning skills used here are basically understanding how to pick out the formula that you need, and so that would be calculations and formulae. And the bootcamp resource that can help with this is the acceleration class on calculations and formulae. In this question, we're given the AW value and we're given the MSFL value, and we're being asked by how much must the AW be reduced in order to double the MFSL. So again, because we're using AW and MFSL, we're going to be using this equation here. And what we're going to start off by doing is basically figuring out what AW needs to be when we double MFSL. So if we double MFSL, we get 10. So 10 is equal to 10 to the power of 9.5 minus 10 times AW. So what we can do now is take the log 10 of both sides. So if I do log 10 of this and log 10 of this, I get 1 is equal to 9.5 minus 10 times AW. All right, so just continuing underneath here, what I can do then is take this to the other side by adding it. 1 plus 10 times AW is equal to 9.5. And I'll take the 1 to the other side as well. So I get 10 times AW. And minusing 1 from both sides, I will get 8.5. So minus 1 and minus 1. Yep. So then what I'm left with is 10 times AW is 8.5, and I will just divide it by 10 on both sides, so I can get AW is equal to 0.85. So when MSFL is equal to is equal to 10, AW is equal to 0.85. And when MSFL is equal to 5, AW is equal to 0.88. So in order to double MSFL, you need to reduce AW by the difference between these two, which is 0.03. So our answer is A. So for this question, same as before, you needed to know a little bit about logarithms, and it's the same reasoning skills and bootcamp resources as the previous question. So in question 24, we're being asked to find the AW if we have an MFSL of 3 years, okay? So MFSL is measured in days, and we're given this information, so we need to convert this 3 years into days. So we have 365 days in a year, and we'll multiply that by 3, and we get 1,095. So 1,095 is our MFSL, and this equals to 10 to the power of 9.5 minus 10 times AW. So same as before, we have to take the log of both sides, right? And this side is easy, we've done it before. It's 9.5 minus 10 times AW. However, this side is a little bit more tricky because that looks like, a bit of an uncomfortable number. But if I look at my answer options here, they vary quite a bit, particularly for AW. So I'm going to take a bit of a risk, and I'm going to round this. So I'm going to round this down to 1,000. All right, and so log 10 of 1,000 would be 3. So I would get 3 is equal to 9.5 minus 10 to the power of, minus 10 times AW. So I would do the same thing that I've been doing before. So I would do, I would minus 10 to the power, 10 times AW from both sides. So I would go 3, and this would, because it's a negative, they cancel out. So I would go plus 10 times AW. And then I would minus 3 from this side and minus 3 from this side. So I would get 6.5. And so I'm left with 10 times AW is equal to 6.5. Divide by 10 on both sides, AW is equal to 0.65. And that is one of our answers. And so I would circle that and move on. So again, for this question, you just needed to know how to use logarithms, but also you needed to kind of be able to round numbers and be comfortable with rounding numbers and working with numbers that seem a little bit uncomfortable, and being able to know when to actually go through with a full calculation versus when to round a number. So being able to do this kind of question without a calculator is also super important. So that's definitely something that I would recommend practicing. So an acceleration class that can help with this is the calculations and formula acceleration class, as well as the estimation, interpolation, and extrapolation one. So that brings us to the end of Unit 7. Please like, share, and subscribe for more GAMSAT help. We have our Instagram at Thank Flip GAMSAT and our podcast, Thank Flip GAMSAT Nurses Doing GAMSAT, if you want to hear more from us. And I'll see you in the next one.